Welcome to Dyspraxic Rosie Writes, a channel where we talk about dyspraxia, chronic illness, and the writing life. In my previous take for this video that I decided to delete because it was too rooted in cynicism in a way that I didn't really have much pride or interest in putting out there once I filmed it, I wanted to talk a little bit about Neurodiversity Celebration Week. So Neurodiversity Celebration Week was originally started in 2018 by Sienna Castellon, and it has been spearheaded since she first founded it by Lexix, and then Lexix started running it after she started running it. So really the classic patient-founded thing. And I just wanted to come on to really just offer some guidance on how we as neurodivergent people can take more of our own ownership of this. I mean, we can write as many cynical posts on the internet as we want, but I think to really make something productive out of this, we really need to consider how we can make it our own. I have learned a great deal from Dyspraxia Awareness Week because I saw it shift a great deal from being very much reliant on the decisions and the activities of Dyspraxia Foundation to, after Dyspraxia Foundation was no longer around, then very much taking ownership of it in terms of the very people who are dyspraxic themselves. And I think that's very important to do, and I think that very much what we can do to make Dyspraxia Celebration Week what we want it to be in the future is to consider how we can plan events around this topic within independent advocacy groups, through partnerships with other disability communities, because yeah, obviously there are people out there that are neurodivergent but have other chronic illnesses or other types of disabilities too. And I think that's a valuable opportunity for partnership. And also I strongly urge schools, workplaces, businesses to not feel like that sense of permission for running events in this area is something that we have to ask for permission from the very leading org of this annual event. Because in all honesty, by hiring neurodivergent people when we have the budget to do so, or when we don't, even inviting people within our own organizations and communities to do things like live streams and radio shows and YouTube videos to talk about their own experiences and what we can do to make the world a more neuro-inclusive place. Because we within the lived experience community, as I said before, we can cynically moan and complain about how Neurodiversity Celebration Week is not operating in a way that we want it to. But truthfully speaking, we do have a lot of power to take it on and put it in the direction we want it to be. We can be the self-motivated ones creating content that teaches people more about this topic. We can be the self-motivated ones that talk to our employers and encourage them to do an event around this topic to make more inviting workplaces. We can, if we're students, talk to people like the accessibility services, as we say, North American audiences will know it as, or disability support services as UK audiences will know it as. We can talk to them and see how we can better create a more inclusive and inviting community for neurodivergent people. But as I always feel myself saying, as I always say on repeat, at this point in the process, my app decided to not work, so I'm just gonna finish my thought process by recording from my phone's camera app instead. So the final point I wanted to make really is that I think that a key part of what we can do with future Neurodiversity Celebration Week programming is to really challenge ourselves to think beyond just autism and ADHD and dyslexia, and consider all the things on the broader umbrella of neurodivergence, but also consider all the various perspectives that are out there too, from class to culture to sexuality to things like that. And really what I want to see out of future Neurodiversity Celebration Week programming is for as much of a diversity of that to be included. And that's why I think a lot of the most valuable things we can do is to not be dependent on one org to organize the whole thing, for us as patients, as neurodivergent people, to somewhat take on our own programming and to encourage this programming within our workplaces and schools and whatever communities we're involved in. And that's where that diversity can start to flourish. After all, much of the most successful and strongest disability justice movements have been through that community organizing element of just average, everyday working people organizing together under one cause and one banner of something they want to accomplish. So I think that's largely why I wanted to make that video today, to get us all start thinking about how we can collaborate together and create a Neurodiversity Celebration Week that is something that we can be proud of and truly and authentically represents us all as a community. I hope you found that video helpful, and I hope that's a good starting point for you for what future particularly good Neurodiversity Celebration Weeks can look like. Happy reading, happy writing, my friends.